How you guys doing? My name is Phil Bailey. I am a first year, second semester architect student at Academy of Art University, and I just want to first of all clarify some of the misconceptions about Academy of Art, and I really want to give my personal opinion about my experience. I'm an online student. I've seen so many people either talking bad about our school or saying that we're just an art school and there's other better ones, or the cost is not worth the quality of education that you get as an online student, and all this other kind of bullshit. And I just want to kind of put my own opinion out there, and you guys can tell me what you think or whatever. So in my 2 semesters, I did start off with a kind of a rough start. And again, this is all going to be just completely honest. I'm going to be very blunt. I'm going to tell it like it is. That's the benefit of YouTube. And so here we go. So the first semester, fall 2012, I was taking Architecture 110 and I was taking a Foundations 113. So a few weeks into the course, we noticed that our architecture professor was not showing up. He was taking forever to respond to discussion posts. What we were learning wasn't all that difficult. However, the modules, which is what we have to read as an online student, you got to read through the modules, take quizzes, watch slideshows, post in discussions, and all that good stuff. It wasn't that difficult. It was just that sometimes the information would be off or out of order. So we would see stuff one week, but we really didn't understand it until the second week because it was kind of a stagger effect. The reason for that is because they have recently changed the architect program because they wanted to make it better, and they wanted to offer architecture as an undergraduate Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. For the longest time, Academy of Art has only had a Master's of Architecture, and with that Master's they also had an interior architecture and design, which is completely different. There's like completely different classes to take from interior architecture versus architecture. And that was what I was going to take when I first started the school, but I decided not to because I really wanted architecture, so I was going to go to Cal Poly. Still want to go to Cal Poly. However, Cal Poly, maybe I'll go there as a master, and I'll get my Bachelor of I'll get my Master's of Art in Architecture from Cal Poly, or I'll get a Master's in Architectural Engineering, or just I'll get a second Bachelor Architectural Engineering from Cal Poly, because they are one of 5 schools in the entire country that offers Architectural Engineering as a degree. Now back to Academy of Art. So there was a few things that were kind of shaky in that first semester, but I will say that our architecture department is probably one of the most on top of the game departments. I think second to, or maybe right along the lines with Foundations department, which is F&D. I've had very good experience with F&D. I've had really good experience with architecture, even after all the bullshit, because once our professor was kind of going away and wasn't really coming back, like we had an announcement from our director who said, hey, we're going to introduce you to a new professor. This was like week 4 or something like that. So we're already a quarter into the semester. The professor, for whatever reason, I don't know if he was sick, I don't know if he was busy. He had worked for a company called SOM, which is one of the world's largest architecture firms. They do work everywhere. You'll see SOM buildings, everywhere. So maybe he had a big project and couldn't dedicate the time that he wanted to, or that the university required. For whatever reason, we got a new professor. We moved on. The new professor came. She gave us a lot of leeway because it wasn't our fault as students why the program was a little out of whack. Nonetheless, we were working on fixing the program, or I say we as in the university. They were fixing the Architecture Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. All of the modules, they were fixing them. All of the quizzes, they were fixing them. So that way, they said, you know what, guys, okay, our bad. You don't have to take quizzes. All you gotta do is do the best you can. Don't let this other professor be an excuse to do lazy work. We still want you to do good work. So out of all of that, I got a personal meeting with the director of architecture, which most students don't really get, but I got this. Why did I get this? Because I was like, you know what, fuck the bullshit. Like, I really want to know. I really have to be the voice for these students. I created a group on Facebook called AAUHU. If you go there, search it. If you're an Academy of Art student, we accept everybody. We basically are a group where we're all student-based, and we stand for kind of like student rights at the school. We stand for providing homework help where maybe the online student help center can't help us. We provide social exposure where maybe if you want more friends at the school, you can talk to people and like, hey, yeah, I feel great because I'm a part of a community. We do portfolio development, so we have a lot of entrepreneurs. We're working on business ideas. We're working on brainstorming, think tank sessions, and all kind of good stuff. So definitely check it out if that's what you want to do. Our goal in that group, in that community, is to provide a higher quality of online and on-campus education for students. Now, back to online education, you got to think that, okay, you are an online student. That means that you have to be self-motivated to learn on your own. You have to learn those 3D programs. You have to learn Photoshop. Everybody should know Photoshop. Even if you don't even go to school for any design field, freaking 13-year-olds know Photoshop. Like, they're Photoshop gurus. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's little kids on YouTube making videos all day long. That's all they do is YouTube videos on how to do Photoshop, how to draw cars really cool. So why can't you do it? Stop bitching about, oh my god, professor said my drawing was bad. Okay, well, if your drawing is a bad drawing, it's a bad drawing. But don't say that the school is bad because professors are going to speak their mind. They're going to be blunt. They're going to let you know, no, your drawing is a piece of crap. Now here's why it's a piece of crap. Your lines are not parallel to the edge of the sheet. Your lines are not perpendicular to each other. Your circles are not symmetrical. You can't just... This is a prestigious private art school. It is a university for artists to truly become professionals, to work with other professionals, and to get good work, to get good critiques, good honest critiques at that. I am so thankful that I go to the school because when I present my work, if I get a C, I'm like, okay, I got a C, but I spent 3 hours. Did I get a C because maybe I didn't follow directions? Maybe I did it the way that I wanted to do it as a designer. Maybe I didn't quite follow directions. And sometimes I'll let my own ego get in the way. I'll decide to make it look more pretty versus more accurate with perspective. Or maybe the values that I'm using, maybe I should have added more values or more contrast to my drawing to make it better. That would have made it a B. My director said, her name is Jennifer, Director of Architecture, she said Academy of Art will challenge students from day one because it is a tough-ass school. They don't require a portfolio, which means anybody can get to it, can get in and try it. But having said that, like, just because they don't require a portfolio doesn't mean they're not a good school. Having them not require a portfolio means that anybody can try it out, and because anybody can try it out, they want to make it a kind of a challenging program so that way people will truly understand what they want to do. If you're going in there for illustration and maybe you've never drawn before in your life, they're going to treat you as if you should have been drawn your whole life because they want to teach you how to illustrate like an artist in 2013 or whatever the year may be when you guys are watching this video. They want to teach you the best practices for your field, and they don't want you to get over your head. They don't want to go over your head with, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, but they're not going to lie to you. They're not going to just give you some bullshit excuse of why they gave you a C versus a B. The director said, if you get a C, it means that you're doing exactly what the university requires of you. You can't just say to yourself, oh, well, in high school or junior college, I've been getting A's and B's in all my classes, and they were challenging trigonometry, calculus 1, 2, and 3, and now I'm here at Academy of Art, and I'm getting C's on, like, these basic drawing classes where, they're saying that my circles are not straight enough. They're saying that my squares don't use the right diminution or the right convergence. Okay, so that means that you have to work harder. Use your critiques to make you better. Utilize your peers, ask them questions, ask your professors questions until you understand it, because in contrast to being an on-campus student, you can actually be in your professor's face and say, hey professor, I don't quite understand this drawing, what am I doing wrong? And they could probably, say, oh yeah, you gotta, make this line a little bit, see this line, this little curve right here? Yeah, it's not quite, the right angle, or maybe you should kind of use a darker line to accentuate what you're actually trying to showcase here. Instead of, like, if you're online, basically you have to post questions all the time. You have to read the modules, read them ahead, do your work early. Don't just wait to the last minute because you're an online student and you think that, oh yeah, well I've got a whole week to do my assignment, that's plenty of time, I can just post my discussions in the last 3 days, I can just kind of upload my images like this, I can kind of not really care about the edges of the paper being straight. No, fuck all that, because you're not going to get a good grade. You're going to get C's, you're going to get D's, you're going to get F's, you're going to fail. You're going to go to the program feeling like the academy is trying to just get money out of you by charging you a lot for classes. They're charging you because they have partners with other softwares like Adobe. Now luckily we have Adobe Creative Suite. That means that as I'm doing my vlogs, as I'm working on 3D models and stuff like that, I can utilize Photoshop, I can utilize Illustrator, I can make books for myself, I can do things like making flash animations, I can do things like making logos with Illustrator, because maybe the school says they give it to us for free, but really in reality, maybe we just get it for like $100. They add $100 to our tuition. Oh well, I'm going to use it. I love the fact that I didn't have to pirate CS6 in order to use it on my system. I don't advocate pirating, but hell, this software costs a lot of money, and the one girl said she couldn't figure out, she had to buy Autodesk Maya out of her own pocket. Well, if you go to students.autodesk.com as a student with your .edu, you can get any Autodesk software. You can get Maya, 3D Studio. I've got Maya, I've got 3D Studio, I've got Showcase, I've got Rivet, I've got Rivet Architecture, I've got Rivet MEP. Why? Because I did a little bit of research to make my online education better. Fuck all the bullshit. Stop complaining about, oh yeah, Academy of Art, blah 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 blah, not a good school, da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, take responsibility for yourself. You make it what you want it to be. The reason why I created the group AAUHU on Facebook is because the way that Academy of Art's online education is set up, it's set up very asynchronously, meaning that I go on, I log on, and when I log on and I post a discussion, it automatically counts me as being attentive or present for the class for the week. Every week you gotta log on, every week. But you don't just log on, you have to make discussion posts, you have to ask questions, you have to critique your students' work. You can't just say, hey Bill, I like your work, very nice drawing. They're not going to give you full points for that. You want to say, hey Bill, your lines should be a little bit straighter. I think that you probably maybe photographed this with a camera phone, and I noticed that it's kind of a little bit crooked, or maybe your drawing is sideways and it should be really perpendicular. If you don't do those things, guys, you're going to get bad grades, and you're going to wonder why. They're not trying to be mean. They're trying to show you that Academy of Art stands for professional artists. They want to train you to be a professional. Any bullshit that goes on in the school, any bullshit with financial aid, that has nothing to do with the school. That has to do with financial aid and your particular background of financial whatever. Maybe you worked a little bit within the last couple of months and that's affecting your financial aid. Maybe you didn't work in the last couple of years like me. I've been freelancing forever, so therefore now I get a Pell Grant. That Pell Grant helps me to take the classes that I'm taking right now. If it wasn't for that Pell Grant, I wouldn't be able to afford taking 3 classes. I would only be able to afford maybe 2 if I was lucky. So I know that I'm going to have to work harder to get more degrees, which means I need better grades. That means I need to spend more time on my details. I need to ask my professors, what the heck do you want from me? What do you expect me to be as a first year student? That's the kind of questions you should be asking. Don't just sit there and don't take no for an answer. Maybe, just maybe, the professor is in the wrong. Just because they are a professor at Academy of Art, that does not mean that they are a good professor. I've seen I follow Twitter all the time, and I follow what people say about Academy of Art. I follow, new professors who are on Twitter. They're like, yeah, cool. I'm a new professor at Academy of Art. I'm doing illustration. I'm doing, graphic design. And I'm like, okay, great. Even professors are excited to be, going to Academy of Art to teach. But maybe it's their first time teaching, so give them some freaking slack. Some teachers have only taught online for a year. Some teachers have only taught online for 2 semesters, therefore they have to grow. You and your professor have to work together. It's a relationship. You, the professor, and the online and on-campus university as a full body have to work together to make sure that you get the most out of your education. Long story short, guys, I'm getting ready to take off here. I'm Phil Bailey. I just wanted to give you my own personal opinion about Academy of Art so people can stop complaining about what they don't like about the school. Obviously, our school has one of the best online education programs. It is not perfect, no. There's a lot of things that need to be improved upon. Like the poll system. The poll system is not very accurate. Sometimes it's distracting, doesn't really help you. They just recently fixed the whole being able to watch videos on Apple devices. That was a big issue last semester. People are like, hey, I want to buy an iPad to do school, and I can do school on the go, but iPad does not support Flash. Therefore, why doesn't the Academy make the video players HTML5 compatible, which will run on any device? It'll run on a freaking microwave, running Android if it could, and there are microwaves that run Android. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I just really wanted to get that off my chest and really just drop a few F-bombs in there and a few B words. But yeah, like don't just critique Academy of Art University so hard because it's very expensive. Think about what you might benefit. Try it out for a semester. Try it out for 3 semesters. A lot of my peers who have been through through the Academy for 5 semesters, 6 semesters, or 2 years, midpoint review, I heard a lot of good reviews. I heard a lot of people having great reviews. I've heard a few people having stresses and switching majors and trying to figure out what they want. That's not necessarily the university's fault. Maybe it's the artist's fault. Maybe in your mind you don't clearly know what you want to do. Maybe you want to do illustration, but you really want to do animation. So it's like, do I do animation degree? Do I do illustration degree? You got to make that decision. There might be benefits to doing one or the other. You got to look at your markets. Look at your industries. The lady mentioned her industry, particularly they were animating overseas versus in the States. Okay, well, maybe being a graphic designer or an illustrator, maybe you can find things that you want, that maybe you can find some niches in the States where you can do. Maybe move your business overseas. Hell, a lot of businesses nowadays work virtually anyway. A lot of companies in America will actually hire people from overseas to do work. Why? Because it's cheaper. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, but you could do the same thing. I'm in America now. I could hire somebody in the Philippines to do call work for me. I could hire somebody in the Philippines or in Korea, to build me physical models for my floor plans, and they can send them to me via mail. And I could have a virtual business that way. You got to be innovative. This day and age, 2013, and moving forward, you can't just put out a regular portfolio and think that your portfolio is going to be accepted by every company that you so desire to work at. You gotta freaking be unique. I mean, freaking robots are doing half the shit that we could do nowadays. You got robots that can freaking take a model in 3D and literally you plug in some numbers and it's going to spit out 5 different variations or an unlimited amount of variations of how you can arrange these different blocks on this building at one time with a few lines of code. So don't tell me that, there's not opportunities. You really have to be unique. Like, I want to apply for this company, PHX Architects. They recently saw my portfolio. They liked what they see. Just because they like my portfolio doesn't mean that I'm going to have everything that they need. I need to look into that company and say, okay, PHX Architects, what do you guys require? What do you require for an intern? What do you require for an employee? Should I know Rivet? Should I know how to do terrain mapping? Should I know a little bit of engineering? Should I know, more about sustainable design and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know who it is you're actually going after. That's where people get fucked up. They think that I want to be an architect, so I'm going to take an architecture degree at a school. Doesn't matter if you go to Yale, Columbia, you know what I'm saying, Berkeley, USC. Doesn't matter what school you go to. Everybody teaches their own things, and everybody's going to teach you a different angle, their own different perspective. I watch lectures in architecture from Yale, Harvard, especially Harvard. Harvard has some of the best Harvard School of Design, Harvard Graduate School of Design. They have some of the best lectures that I watch. Even though I go to Academy of Art, I'm not hating on Academy of Art, but I want to see what other schools are doing. And if you are an online student or an on-campus student, if you don't take the initiative to research what other people are doing, then how can you truly say that you're a master of your own craft? How can you truly say that this is your dying passion, this is what you want to do with your life, if you don't even take the little bit of time throughout your week? You know, instead of going out clubbing or partying, or, you know, procrastinating on your assignments, get your shit done. Get your assignments done right away, and then do some research on other schools. Do research on other school programs. Maybe there's other summer programs you can take that may be a little bit cheaper. So you say, okay, well, I go to Academy of Art now, but maybe I'll take a summer off of Academy of Art. I'm going to go to Columbia, or I'm going to go to New York somewhere, or I'm going to go down to, you know, go up to Alaska or something like that, and take a class there because it's going to help me out. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to go and stop ranting and chatting your ear off, but Phil Bailey, I'm signing out. Hope you guys have enjoyed my little, very bluntly honest review of Academy of Art University. I love it. Shout out to all my AAU-hooers. Shout out to all my urbanites out there. I couldn't be in a happier position than I am today, so definitely stay tuned for more of my videos. You know, subscribe to my channel. Check out my channel if you want to see, you know, what it is I'm going through with school. Check out what I'm learning. Check out how I'm actually putting myself out there in the industry, and how I'm landing internships, or how I'm getting jobs, and actually contacting companies that are going to potentially put me to work in the future. See you guys later.